Thank you for joining us here at Levittown Public Library and the summer and early fall gardening program with Paulie the Plant Man Levine. Today is Tuesday, August 31st, approximately 6:30 p.m., and it is Paul's 250th program.
Okay, good to go or not yet? Okay, we are ready to go. And history 250. Let's hear it once more. Now, we have John and Patricia know in this talk, I have two things. We have plants that people will agree with me on that are great for the early fall garden. And we got plants that you'll think I'm totally crazy that do not belong there. I have to bring conflict to the talk too, to make it exciting. So let's take a plant that we agree with, but is a bit of a surprise to everyone. Okay, you see this mum right here? And you see that mum right there. Here's a question. Do they look the same? Just, of course, one's in a bigger pot. They look the same, right? What if I were to tell you they are totally different and it's not the size of the pot? What if I were to tell you right now, one of the mums is going to last you way longer than the other mum? Now, I look at your faces because I know everyone here, and this one's the prettier one. I know, I love it too. It is the red one. This is the yellow one. So I'm asking you a question right now. I'm going to let the audience. Which one is going to last past October? One is going to go into mid-October. One is going to go for years. You remember from the tour. Okay, and what do you two say? Here, you two, because John and Patricia, they've been to my talk, so they know the reason, but what do you two think? The yellow or the red? Okay, here's the deal. The yellow one. See, this one is, we've known this for years. It's the regular Florist Chrysanthemum. We go to Hicks, we go to Home Depot, we go to our local nurseries. They've been around forever. So you know the deal. I'll be talking about this one in 2 minutes. But first, I want to give a little bit of drawing a picture in your ears. What if I were to tell you, mums usually last from August, if we get them now, right up to mid-October. If it's cooler, it'll last longer. If it's hotter, it'll last shorter. What if I were to tell you this one will be in your garden right up until December? Yeah, it could go to 30 degrees. Remember, 30 degrees. So you get a cold night in November like Thanksgiving, it's still there. But this is not just the other thing. This mum here, this mum here, this mum could be an indoor plant. So somebody is going to win this mum tonight. And I'm going to tell you a little story about this. The person who wins it, let's say you decide to keep it inside and make this a permanent indoor plant. I'm not talking about this is going to last you 3 months. I'm not talking it's going to last you 6 months. What if I were to tell you in 3 or 4 years, this thing could still be in your house? Something you will never, ever see with that mum. This is a hybrid mum. This came out in 2015, this mum. It got big in Long Island in 2018. And here's the reason why, and this is the story. John, I have to bring them up. The millennials, they are the ones who are running the show. And what they want is they want things now. They want it. They don't want to have mums last to October. They want mums to be indoors. They want it all year, and they do not want to have the mums die. Well, guess what? In 2015, they came up with this mum. This is the Florist Mum Hybrid. And they do have these in the Home Depot. You go to Jericho, you go to say Acid. It'll be on a separate shelf. It won't be with the regular mums. There's one piece of bad news for this year still. This variety will not be in that size. They'll only be in 4 inches for this year. Next year, that will change. But for this year, the Florist Hybrid will only be in this size. So that one is, but think about it. Having this mum as a regular indoor plant, you just need to give it medium light. You water it once a week. You fertilize it every 4 months, this time 3 times a year. And this plant, and you fill up the pot with soil every few months, and that's it. It's pet friendly, so you don't have to worry about anything. This plant is going to be with you for a long time. Now, if you choose to keep it outside, I'm going to ask one favor. Do not put it outside till after the big monsoon comes, because the monsoon is going to take this beautiful mum and ruin it. So just wait till, let's say, Friday till you put it outside. You put it outside. Right now, I'm going to say you water it every other day. The mums don't need to be watered every day unless it's above 85. Water it every other day. And then you keep it outside until December. Again, it's pet friendly. So if you're worried about dogs and cats, you don't have to worry about it. Most critters, what I like about this mum, they don't really go after this mum. That's the one big advantage. The squirrels, the cats, the chipmunks, the rabbits, they don't really come after that. What I tell people on a regular basis is just have a peppermint or spearmint, but they don't really come after this. And if you do that, just bring it in after Thanksgiving, and that is it. This is something, even if you keep it outdoors, keep it in the house until April, put it outdoors again, and boom, you can still have it last 5 or 6 years. And that is the big thing. The one thing you do not want to do is keep it out in a monsoon. That will kill it. The one thing you do not want to do is keep it out at 95 degrees and not water it for a few days. And those are the extremes. But other than that, this is one of the easiest plants for somebody who's really getting into plants to get into, because we're bringing the outside in. So this is something that if you want something new, boom, you got it. Now we talk about my friend, the regular mums. So right now, go home with it, keep it in the house until Friday. Now, this mum here, I'm feeling the soil right now. So right now, you're gonna water it every day, but I want you to add a little bit more Miracle Grow soil to this, because like I said, I got this at Home Depot. Hicks doesn't get them in until September 7th. So right now, just add a little Miracle Grow on the top of it. This way it blends in and it makes it hold the water a little better. That's extremely important. The water. Water is very important, because right now, I will guarantee you something. We are going to have a couple of days in September that is in the high 80s and it's humid. We always do. So we need to have that there. Again, pet friendly. And again, you'll have your animals come by it. They're not going to do much damage. But again, if people are uncomfortable, just have, a peppermint plant or a spearmint plant next to it, because that keeps the rodents away from every kind of plant you can imagine, except for deer. Deer is the only ones that you can't have that. But other than that, peppermint and spearmint will solve all your problems with any kind of animals in your backyard. So right now, I'm looking at this plant, and whoever goes home with this, it will last you probably till mid-October. And if you can get it to go to mid-October, that's good, because if you look at it, here we go. You see, it's basically opened up already. So it's not that tight. It's already in the middle of the thing. So if it was a little tighter, I would say maybe the end of October, but being where it is, let's say mid-October. Now, I'm going to suggest something. Some of you will agree, some of you will disagree. Most people say, I want to plant my mums in the sun. I'm going to say plant it in the sun, but I still say part shade, because if you get a hot day, you don't want the hot weather drying the mums up the soil very quickly. So it'll help last a little longer. So part sun, part shade. Do we need to fertilize this mum? I don't think so, because unlike the other mum, it has its lifespan. It's going to go in October. Enjoy it for your 6 or 8 weeks, and don't get yourself crazy with it. Now, the other question is this a biannual? Will this come back next year? If I put it in the ground, will this come up in March? If you have 10 of these, 3 of them will, 7 of them won't. So it's really, you're on your own. I can't guarantee you that it's going to come up next March. So I'm just letting you know right now. But again, I see the looks on your faces. I like this color too. So you have to pick it when you get the prizes. Just don't put it out tonight. Controversy time. Hibiscus. That's a spring garden plant. That's a summer garden plant. That's a Florida plant. But it's not a fall plant. Well, Paulie the plant man is here to challenge that. It is a fall plant. Now, I don't have the Hawaiian punch hibiscus. That one's very different. They're actually all sold out of them. That one you could have in your house and you could have for years. But this one is still the more popular. This one is in Florida, and this one could stay in your backyard right up until November. It could, remember, they're from Florida. Florida does get cold. It has its cold spells in the winter where it's 40 degrees or it's 35 degrees. They don't go up in Florida and take the hibiscuses out of the ground. So it could withstand temperatures of 40 degrees, 35 degrees. So let's say you can keep it out to November. But I'm going to say shortly before Thanksgiving, I want you to bring it inside. Bring it inside because right now, here's what scares me when it gets close to Thanksgiving. 25 degrees at night. It could be 55 to 60 during the day, but you got 25 degrees at night. Unlike this month here, this thing is going to go on you. So right now, I would say full sun is good. That's perfect for this. Water it every day. Very important. I want you to fill up the soil a couple of times a year when you get it, because most of the time we'll get it in April. So if you do it every 2 months, you fill up the soil. And right now, I'm going to say I want you to fertilize it every 3 months. And here's the reason I want you to fertilize it every 3 months. You see these flowers? It's very, very easy for a hibiscus to go dormant if you don't constantly fertilize it. So I'm very much in favor of fertilizing it every 3 months, because what happens if you don't fertilize it at all, and I've done it with mine, it stays there, but you won't get as many flowers. Look how many flowers this plant has. So right now, that's important. Now, we bring this plant in the house. I have heard over the years I've been giving this talk, actually I've heard many questions, but the most popular one is this. When I bring this in the house, should I put it in the closet? And here is closet. Now, I've heard this question, and I'm going to tell you the answer right now. Here's my answer. My hands will do the speaking for me. No way. We do not put it in the closet. Should I cut the plant back? In other words, you cut the whole thing down and let it reroot next year. My answer, no way. This is a living thing. You treat it as a living thing. It could stay in your house. If you leave it in this pot, get a decorative container, you treat it as a house plant. That's why I like the small ones. The bigger ones, there's a little more space. But right now, there's no reason. If you have a nice pot, this is 6-inch, get an 8-inch decorative container. There's no reason this can't be in your house. But you have to give it at least medium to high light. Can't be in a low light situation. And if you do that, it is going to stay with you all winter. That's the promise. You still have to fertilize it though, because again, the same thing, except in the house, you're going to water it once a week, but you still every 3 months, let's say April, August, and December, it needs that 3-month program. Dogs and cats are safe with it, so don't worry about your dogs and cats. They're not going to get any poisonous or anything, so that's the thing. So right now, you'll see when the leaves get yellow, it comes from 2 things. When it becomes a really, a yellowish orange, that means you're not watering it enough. So when you see like an orangish yellow, that means lack of water. But here's an interesting thing. Miracle Grow sticks. That I've been using since 1985, and I will live by that. They do the best job. Now, here is the thing. When the leaves turn a really pale yellow, not an orangey yellow, that means you're overwatering it. That is a very, very big thing. But there's one other thing I want to show everybody. I purposely got up there for this reason. You see the yellow spot on this leaf here? Why is it there? And this is an interesting thing. Know why it's there? Stress, 90s, hurricane winds, drenching rains. It is stressed out because it's trying to figure out what season we're in. It was in the 60s at night. So it's trying to figure out what we're in. Are we in the hot summer? Are we in the fall? Are we in a monsoon? Don't worry about it if you see it. That's what it's coming from. The stress of getting used to what temperatures we're in. But this could definitely be part of your fall garden. And here's another example. Right here, I'm going to pull this off. You see this? Lack of water. And you see the pot. When you come home, whoever takes this with them, I want you to put some more soil in this Miracle Grow potting soil. I have it here so you'll see what it's about. It needs to get a little bit of nutrients right now. Every day you water this plant. This is a plant, unless it rains, you water every day outside. That is extremely, extremely important. In the house, you can do it once a week, but outside, it is extremely important you don't skip a day of watering until you get into October when it's cooler. But right now, if it's in the 70s, if it's in the 80s, you got to water it every day. So this plant, yes, is part of Paulie's flow garden. Okay, now we are going ornamental peppers. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, they are gorgeous. A little early for them. Usually I don't bring them till, let's say, mid-October, let's say mid to late September. Sometimes I don't even do it till October, but right now I saw these and I had to get them. It's a little warm for them. I admit that. They like it when it's cooler. Now, I'm going to tell everybody one thing, even the people on Zoom. This plant, as beautiful as it is going to drive you crazy. Why? Because if you miss watering it or you don't water it enough, it's going to droop on you. It's going to look like it's dying on you. This is the biggest water user you will have of any plant. And if you miss and you give it only a little water, it's still not enough. It's going to get angry with you. So that is the thing. And you are going to see these beautiful peppers become angry peppers. So the watering is extremely important. A good watering every day. Do I need to fertilize this? No. And the reason is it's only going to be for about 6 weeks or 7 weeks, and then the plant is gone. It cannot be an indoor plant. It is not going to go to Christmas. We have not found a new kind of ornamental peppers that the millennials want that last forever. This is a regular one, and it's going to be a 6 or 7 week thing. Very simple. Now, I want to show you something. It needs soil. So when you come home, whoever has it, you see how it's a little low on soil? I brought these here purposely because I want to show not just the good parts, but what problems the plants can have and how you can prevent it. This plant always needs to be filled to the top. This plant is very low here, so we got to get the soil in there. If it's fully soiled and you water it every day, that is the best thing. It will say on the signs when you go to Home Depot or the stores, full sun. Absolutely, 100%, I disagree with that. I would say part sun, part shade. And the reason I'm saying part sun, part shade is you get that western sun and it's really hot outside, that's going to beat up on this plant. And unless you keep watering this plant is going to just get beat up by this. So you definitely got to give it part sun, part shade. That's really the thing. And if you do that, you should be okay. You do not have to worry about animals coming to it. You see, they know for one thing, if they eat these peppers right here, they're going to have a very hot feeling in their mouth because these are the hottest peppers you're going to ever have eaten. They are eatable, folks. You could eat them. They're not poisonous, but these are the hottest of the hot. So I would definitely keep these away from my little animal friends because they're going to be very sorry if they don't have water around them. So that is the key. So basically right now, this is a thing to have. But like I said, normally I would not bring this until mid-September or even October because it's a cool weather plant, but I just had to get this. Look how gorgeous and full this is. And just enough to show you a little problem with the soil. Okay, look at this plant, the Calancho. And this is the orange variegated Calancho. And came out last year. You've never seen these before. You've seen straight colors like pink or like red or like regular orange. But we got 3 shades of orange, a reddish orange, a yellowish orange, and a plain orange, all in one. Again, something different. And these things are going to be hot. Remember, Calanchos are not in the tropical plant family. They're in the succulent family. And the thing you got to know, there's 2 things that outdo everything today. Succulents and the plant walls. You go into those places and you see all those plant walls being, they are the 2 things of today's times that are hot. Well, this being part of the succulent family, they want color. So the moon cactus and this, the variegated varieties of the Calancho are the 2 hot ones right now as far as color. So if you go to the Broadway Mall around here, you go to the Walt Whitman Mall out in Huntington, you will start seeing these things because right now they are very big on succulents, both of them, because again, that is the in thing. Now, this unfortunately is not going to last you for 5 or 10 years. How Calanchos work is this. You're going to get about 6 flowerings out of these. You last you about 2.5 to 3 months each. Now, you notice right now, you got your plants right up here, main flowers. little flowers growing underneath, and even more little flowers over here. The reason for that is in, let's say October, let's say Halloween, let's make it 2 months from today. Most of these flowers are going to go bye-bye. The new flowers are going to take over. When that happens, within a few days, put in fertilizer. The fertilizer is what's going to keep these flowers going, but they're going to also do something important. It's going to give new flowers. New flowers are very, very important because if we don't fertilize it, guess what? We're not going to have new flowers. So let's say it's actually, I'm not going to lie to you. 3 months is going to be hard. 2.5 months. That's when the flowers are going to last. You want to have those flowers up there. So once you have the new flowers coming, you cut the old ones, you need to fertilize it. And that's going to give you 6 times. So I figure about 1.5 years is about as long as it's going to go, maybe 21 months, but that's as long as most calanchos go today. The caldavias, you've seen them before. On my talks, they'll go about 2 years. But again, they're very nice plants. Here's a question. Why are they part of the fall garden? Aren't they indoor plants? Here's my argument. Go to the hotels. This year I didn't go to New York City. My clients are on hold, but when I was in the city, I would see the hotels with the flower pots. You know, I would always see 3 things in the early fall flower pots. Mums, pansies, and calanchos. My question to the hotels is, why didn't they put the Montauk daisies in? Why didn't they put asters in? Why didn't they put fall sedum in? The reason is because in October, they want to rip it out. They want to get rid of the mums, and they want to put the cabbages and the pansies. These calanchos are perfect. They'll last 2 months like the mums. August to October, they rip them out, and then they could put in the cabbages, kale, and the pansies, and it works like a charm. That's why. So if you go to hotels, go outside office, building office developments, and you will see it when they put in their mums. It's going to be mums, it's going to be calanchos, and it's going to be pansies. Pansies are staying, they're not going anywhere. But the calanchos and the mums get ripped out in mid-October, and they get replaced with kale and cabbage, and they're the winter plants. So this is something that is definitely here, and it could be an outdoor plant. Now, I know most of you, looking at almost all of you, you're going to keep it indoors, and that's fine. I do the same thing with mine. So right now, I'll tell you how to take care of it indoors first. We talked about the fertilizing. You're going to water it once a week, medium to high light. That's very important. Pet friendly, you don't have to worry about it, but you don't have to drown it. See, the leaves are very thick here, so you don't have to drown it with water. That's the big thing. Every few months, I want you to fill it up with the soil. That's very, very important. But one extremely important thing that a lot of people I've seen over the years do with the calanchos is they've taken them out of the pot, they've replanted them, but their pots where they're in has no drainage. And they have rocks and pebbles and all that stuff. That does not work. You must have drainage because when a calancho is sitting in a puddle of water, that's going to rot the leaves. So good drainage is very, very important. It's better to have it in this pot than to have it in a pot where there's no drainage. This drainage is very, very important. So again, this is definitely a Paulie favorite, something we'll get to. Asters. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful plant. I will tell everybody one thing about the asters right now, so your heads up. If you don't like bees, this plant ain't for you because this is a bee lover plant. Now this time of year, there are 3 types of bees. The Bumble Bees, we're all used to them. They're not interested in us. They're friendly. They're not going to bother us. The regular bees, they just go about their business. Then we have a new friend that comes out in late August. His name is Yellow Jacket. And they are the ones that fly in your face and stuff. Those are the ones you have to watch out for. See, the regular honeybees or the bumblebees, they're not interested. They're not going to sting you unless there's a nest or something. But those yellow jackets and the wasps, they're a totally different breed. So if you see them near the plant, then you gotta be careful with them. The regular bees and the bumblebees, if you see them, you don't care. You could sit on your terrace, your backyard, read your paper, they're not coming over you. They're not interested in you. They're interested in pollinating the plant. Now, if we see a few of the bumblebees, yeah, fine. However, You see those yellow jackets there, be careful. Do not be a hero, because 1 minute you may see them on the plan, the next minute you may see them right in front of you. So just be careful of that. Now, getting back to this, I would love to tell everybody in this audience that this plant is going to last you until December. Sorry, end of September is what all this plant is going to last you. It's a 4 or 5 week thing, and that is just the way it is, the Asters. You get them in late August, they'll stay with you. If you're lucky, you can have them till September, end of September. How it works is the hotter it is, the less of a chance you're going to have. The cooler it is, the better. So you need to have cool weather. Part sun, part shade. Full sun, forget it. It's just not going to work. So right now, you can even see this aster is already taking its toll right now. And that's the big reason, because it's been sitting in full sun. And if you feel the soil, it's actually been pretty good. It's wet, so they actually did a good job with the soil. But if you see, there is still a couple of brown pieces right here. And it's because, again, the hot sun. It is not an easy plant to take care of. It's not going to drive you crazy like the ornamental peppers. But again, it is a plant that has its lifespan. Don't even bother fertilizing it. It ain't going to make any difference. It will have 4 to 5 weeks. The cooler it is, the better it is. Pet safe, yes. Plant it where you want, but I just will tell you, be careful, because again, if you don't like bees, you don't want it too close to you. Don't plant it too close to where you may be sitting, pretty much. And that's really the basics I can tell you. There's no real wrong thing. The big thing I can tell you with asters is if they don't get watered every day, they will go on you very quickly. If you overwater them, they'll get a fungus on them. That's the big thing. So that's the tricky part. How much water do I give it? How much water do I not give it? So my advice is, let's make this simple. Keep it in a medium sun, part shade, water it every day. That's it, enjoy it. Otherwise, you get yourselves crazy trying to guess what. So that's my thing. Okay. We have the purple fountain grass here. And this is, again, one of my favorite grasses. I have this on my terrace now, the same type of grass, for about 2.5 years right now. And this is perfect for the fall garden. The only thing that's missing are those, white flowers or the pink flowers. Here's the thing. I don't like those white flowers or pink flowers. So I get the varieties without them, but they do have them. Here's why I like the grass. Look at the color, man. This is fall color right here at its best. Now, how tall it gets is it's up to you. This is a dwarf variety version. It can grow as tall as 4 feet tall. The regular ones will go about 6 or 7 feet. They're not going to be like the regular fountain grass, which is 10 and 12 feet, but they could grow the regular variety of purple grass, who grow about 6 feet. Being the dwarf version, this is going to grow about 4 feet. Now, I would say the most important thing is giving it a good watering every day and giving it good light. Those are the two things I say, water and light. I don't fertilize my ornamental grasses, so you don't have to worry about fertilizing them. Animals, you're safe, but here's the thing, my friends. You need to basically be careful of overwatering it. That's the thing. How do we do it? How do we underwater it? How do we not overwater it? I just say give it a good drink. Don't overwater it. Don't drown it. Just give it a good watering every day, and that's it. Give it medium sun, and that's it. If you want it to be bigger, put it in the ground. Get a 12-inch or 14-inch pot. 10-inch, it's going to be about 3 feet. Personally, I like my plants to be about 2 feet, so I'll probably keep it in this pot. Maybe I'll get an 8-inch, but I don't want this grass any bigger than 2 feet. Because I have a terrace, I only have so much space, but it could grow 4 feet. If you get a 12 or a 14-inch pot, this will grow to be about 4 feet. And what I like about this is it's pretty compact. The regular fountain grass, they can spread out. I don't like grasses to spread out. And this is a very compact variety. So it may grow in height, but it's really not going to take over your garden. And that's very important because some ornamental grasses could just totally take over your garden. Now, could this grass grow indoors? Now, I can tell everybody, the one grass that grows indoors is the blue fescue, but this could grow indoors also. I've grown it indoors, so you have a shot that it could grow indoors. If you take 10 of these, 6 of them will succeed, 4 of them will not succeed. But yes, this could be grown indoors. because I have an atrium, one of my clients in Hopog, and we've got this right in front as a border plan. And I've had that for about 4 years, and it's still doing well. As long as it has the light, if it's a low light situation, it's not going to do very well. But if you get a good amount of light, this could do very well. So right now, this is one of my favorites. Now, why do we have this brown stuff over here? Well, the reason is, again, it's hot. Even though you wore it, the hot weather is going to cause this. This likes cool weather. So if you get hot weather, you're going to have the brown stuff. Just pull it off like this. Now, I'm going to tell you an interesting fact. I'm sure most of you here have houses. You have ornamental grasses. What do you do in the wintertime? You cut it back. Well, let me tell you a little story. On my terrace, I have a blue fescue grass and I have a purple fountain grass. I've had the blue fescue for over 10 years. I've had the purple grass since 2018. Do you know I have never had to cut back either one of my grasses? And we had a pretty nasty winter last winter. So I will tell you right now, if it's like this, you may not have to cut it back. Unless it's really brown, I don't believe in cutting it back. Even if it's 4 feet tall, like I said, I have never cut back my ornamental grasses. So whoever goes home with this tonight, I'm probably going to look at you. Most of you will probably get it in a container. And maybe it'll be about 2 to 3 feet. The color is the same. It's going to come March. You're going to have a lot of brown stuff like this over here. Get rid of the brown stuff. It's mostly going to be on the bottom. You don't have to cut the grass back. You cut the grass back, you wait for it to grow, you have a new thing. I'm telling you, absolutely 100% no reason for that at all. So you don't have to cut this grass back at all. It'll go dormant in the winter. That's okay. What I do with my ornamental grasses on the terrace once a month, I just come out with lukewarm water and I just pour it in there just to give it a little something, but they're dormant. So this plant will be in your backyard. And when it comes springtime, it'll be okay. Just add new soil to it, give it a little TLC, trim it, get rid of all the brown stuff, and this plant will be part of your garden. A very, very easy plant to take care of. Okay, let's go Celosia right here. Now, this we all know is definitely part of the fall garden. And right now, I love the flowers. It just has that unusual feel to it. And this is a little bit of a different variety where John and other people who've seen me on Zoom, I have on my own terrace, the dark red leaf variety. This is a little different. This is the variegated leaf variety. So it's like a mixture of reddish green. Why I don't like the regular variety is because most of the leaves are green and they turn yellow very, very quickly. That's why I like the more variegated or the dark red leaf variety, because right now it's got, you look at the root here, when you go to the plant stores, you're going to see a lot of varieties of Celosia. The thing I will tell you is, see the color here? It's like a reddish green, the roots right here. See how the stem is? It's reddish green. Get that variety. That is going to last you the longest by far. It is a firm root. It is not going to get yellow, the leaves, basically. And the reason the leaves get yellow is it's in the sun, and the sun is what turns it yellow. It just is not like the sun. This variety, however, does not turn yellow. This variety could be in a 90-degree day. As long as you water it, it's going to be nice and happy. So that's why I like this. I like hardiness for my Celosias. It's a very pretty feel to it, and there are many varieties you could have, but I like the double red leaf one. But more important, I like the reddish stem one. That's very important. When you go to the store, make sure you get the red, because some will have yellow stems, some will have green. This is by far the most hardy right now. Now, water it every day, fertilize it twice a year, and fill up the soil pot every couple of months. That is all you have to do. Now, on occasion, you will see the flowers here. You will see white getting on top of brown getting on top. That means it's the sun. The sun is, it's getting hot. The sun is doing its job baking. Just take a scissor, snip it right off. Don't panic. That's nothing. It's going to happen. We've had a very interesting summer, and we've had summers where it's 3 or 4 days in the 90s. And there's just nothing you're going to do about it. those leaves are gonna turn it. So that's basically it. But it should be able to last you right up to late October and be part of your fall garden. No reason it can't. And you could have this in March. You get this in late March, early April, it's your spring gone. It stays with you all year. And then in October, yeah, November is gonna be cold. You got 25-degree night, like I said earlier, it's gonna put this one out. So let's say do that. Here's an interesting fact, and I'll tell you something. Can it be indoors? And that's a good question. And I'm looking at most of you. I'm gonna say this straight up. 30, I'd take 9 of these. 3 of them do good, 6 of them die. 1/3 will stay indoors, and they'll stay indoors for a while. The other 6 are gone. That's the thing. You really have to get lucky with these plants. You get good soil, you water them once a week, you give it good light, you fertilize it a couple of times a year, maybe you get lucky and it does well indoors. It's not gonna be like this one here, where it stays with you 5 or 10 years almost all the time, but you could get lucky and have this for a couple of years indoors, but it's really hit and miss. That's the thing. I will tell you one thing though, in the next few years, they are gonna have indoor varieties of Celosia. The millennials want it, and what they want is gonna come about in the market. So just be aware. Remember, back in 78, they started a personal computer. Back in 2004, they started Facebook. We all thought it was silly. It's part of our life today. So just letting you know, this will be part of it. Oh, do we have any questions, by the way? Don't mind me talking, I just go on and on. Does anybody here have any questions? Okay. My old friend, the pansy. This is like the snake plant of plants. This is the plant you cannot kill. If you kill this plant, that means you have a subblack thumb. It's like if you kill a snake plant, you should not be doing horticulture. This is a plant that could stay, and it could stay with you for the next 10 years, indoors or outdoors. Right now, it's very simple. In the summertime, I would say more shade than sun because it's a cool weather plant. So I have one of these on my terrace and I keep it in a shady area. So that's important in your backyard. And right now, I say you can move it into a more sunny area after October when it gets cooler. What's interesting about the pansies is they're compared to the petunias. Here's how most people do it. They get their pansies in March, April, and then early May. Then it gets warm, toss the pansies out, get the petunias in May, June, July, August. Petunias are the hot thing. But guess what? And then your pansies are in the background. In August, the petunias start to thin out. They start to get stringy and everything. And we get tired of them, we throw them out. Meanwhile, these pansies that we put aside in the back area are still around. That's the difference. So these could be, just got to keep them in a shady spot in the summertime. You don't have to fertilize it. Just water it once a week. Make sure it's fully soiled, and that's it. There's nothing else you have to do with it. If you want to put this indoors, you can put this indoors. You water it once a week, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just make sure you give it light. That's it. This plant could stay with you like this one for years. No reason this plant can't be an indoor plant. No reason at all this plant can't be with you for 10, 12 years. Very easy. So right now, there's no guesswork to it. Water it, make sure it has enough soil, make sure it has enough light, and that's it. You want to make this easy. I hate challenges with plants. That's the story. Okay, I'm going to step away from this and I have to get my soil. And this, my friends, is what I live by and go with. The Miracle Grow potting soil. And we need it more now than ever before. I'll tell you the first, now, you're gonna go to the Home Depot. You're gonna see the Miracle Grow gardening soil, okay? Notice this is potting soil. I'm gonna give you one thing they both have in common. They're both Miracle Grow and they both have fertilizer. That is the only thing they have in common. Now I'm gonna give you some examples what the difference is. Tomorrow and Thursday, we're gonna have a lot of rain. Now, you know what the Miracle Grow gardening soil is gonna do? It's gonna get flooded. You're gonna see puddles in there. It's gonna turn to mud. Now with this soil, what this soil is going to do is absorb it. That's the thing. It's a sponge. It's going to absorb it. Very important. And that's the second thing it does. It absorbs. It doesn't turn to mud, and you don't get puddles like crazy and have your garden removed. Second, of course, we know about the fertilizer. Third, 90 degrees out there. Give you an example. Tomato plant, hydrangea plant, rhododendron plant. Guess what? Oh, give you one more. Hibiscus plant. We water the plants. We've done a great job with it. And guess what? It's 90 degrees next morning. It looks like you haven't watered it at all. This is where this comes in. It will hold in the moisture. And believe me, with 85, 90 degrees humidity, you need something that's going to hold in the moisture. Do not be fooled by other soils. A soil is not a soil. A soil needs to be spongy so it can absorb the water. It needs to be able to hold on and hold the moisture, and it needs fertilizer. The shoots, they don't have any fertilizer in their soil. They have no peat moss or fermulite, so it could absorb, and it certainly does not hold the moisture. So again, what do? It's cheap. It's just another name. The Miracle Grow organic soil, if you use organic soil, do not use Miracle Grow. It does not absorb water at all. I tried it about 2-3 years ago, planting my broccoli in there, and it was a big April rain, and my thing was totally ruined. I had to take the broccoli out. Thank goodness I had another bag of Miracle Grow in my car, and I just replanted it. Out of the 4 broccolis, 2 made it, 2 didn't make it. But again, it was the soil. If it's a heavy rain, the organic turns to mud real fast. So be aware of that, because when you get your soil, you want something that's going to absorb. Extremely, extremely important. And don't go for me. Look at tomorrow, look at Friday, when they get about 4 or 5 inches of rain. So they say, so you need to have soil that absorbs. That's a big difference. So just letting you know. And I've been using this soil since 1985. So as most of you know, I use this on my garden plants. I use this on my indoor plants. I use this on my fruits and vegetables. I have an interior landscape business for 25 years, and I use it on all the plants there. This is the soil Paulie the Plant Man lives by. So that is the story. Okay, so the talk is done, but do you have any questions? So now is the time. Okay. The best fertilizer I have is the sticks, but I'm going to give you some interesting things. 3 interesting things I do use. The number one thing I use is orange peel. What I do with an orange peel, and this is good for the, let's say the hibiscus, I take a few pieces of orange peel and I'll plant it right in the soil with the hibiscus. Just a few small pieces. I do it a couple of times a year. That's good acid. By the way, for those who have hydrangea plants, that is excellent. Take a little lemon peel, take a little orange peel, and that adds acid to the soil. So that's something I use. Another thing that's good is banana peel. That turns into a really good fertilizer. Lots of nutrients in there. The one thing you could use, I do not use or believe it, but it does work, is eggshell. You plant the eggshell in there, that turns into a great fertilizer. However, I'm going to tell you there's a few things I would not believe in. Coffee grounds. I don't believe in it. Yes, it's neutral, but most people like to use it on their indoor plants in their houses. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have a horrible aroma, because that coffee has a very strong smell. So don't spill coffee into your plants. Don't put coffee grounds in your plants. Don't put pennies in your plants. People have told me that, but I guess because of the copper or whatever metal it's made of, it does not work. So I am telling everybody this.
What about tangerines?
Yeah, tangerine peels are great. It's for the, it's an acid. You need those. That's acidy. What's up? Oh no, I was just saying, do you have a question?
What about coffee grinds?
Nah, definitely against it. Because yes, it's nutrient, leaves a horrible aroma. Definitely I would stay away from it.